Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Welcome back to Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with the Heartbreak Dude, Denton, and Ryan enjoys wrestling, and this is our WWE edition, my man. What's going on? We going live on everything now. I'm even doing a TikTok while we're doing this, so
yeah.
What's going on, my man?
I'm right there with you. Hello, everybody on the TikTok and YouTube and everywhere out there. We are ready to talk some WWE. It's been a fun week in wrestling. The Rock got slapped, Cody Rhodes cried on TV, and Trick Williams made out with his girlfriend. So
all right,
that's pretty much the week in review. Goodbye, everybody.
That was a good, solid take on what's going on with wrestling this week. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Is that his real life girlfriend?
I think so.
Okay, that's one. Number two, Cody did not cry. Let's not even go there. We'll go there when we do our Monday Night RAW review, because that was not crying. And The Rock did get bitch slapped pretty hard, dude. That's what happens when you have a jaw made of granite. You're like, yo, Cody, with those little ass hands, just slap me across the face. Let me have it. Good stuff. Are you looking up Lash Legend? Is that his woman in real life?
I'm trying to. I don't know if they've confirmed it. But I think it's one of those.
Well, if she wasn't, she is now. Hey.
Yeah, I know.
All right, man.
Yeah, no, it says there's an article that says it looks like Trick Williams is dating Lash Legend as of January 1st, 2024. So who knows?
Who knows? Whatever, their life. But as always, what we do here is we're going to recap the week. We're going to go through SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, NXT, and then we have a fun little segment we're going to do. So, as always, you ready for that? We got any news? We got news, don't we? No? Maybe on the AEW side, not on WWE
more
side.
More AEW stuff. Yeah, I mean,
right.
Some people got allegedly named in the lawsuit, but we don't really need to go into.
No, and it wasn't even real source. Yeah.
So, but other than that, no big news in WWE that I know of.
All right. Then you ready?
Always.
All right. 60-second or less SmackDown review. Let's go. Logan Paul opens the show bragging about having 5-star matches and being the secret sauce. All right. The Prime logo will now be on the mat, dead center. KSI joins him to brag, and then he gets RKO'd and sells it like a pro by Mr. Randy Orton himself. And then he pours Prime on KSI's junk, right on his junk, like a straight middle school bully. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens defeat Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. After the match, Logan jumps in, but Randy runs him off. Bayley has an interview, and basically she doesn't know what to believe. And Naomi is watching in the back, and she feels bad. Bianca Belair does not. Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley end in a DQ, and both sides brawl after. Dragon Lee gets made fun of by Legado del Fantasma. Tiffany Stratton defeats Michin. AJ Styles will humble LA Knight, and that does not set well with LA Knight, who then has a one-on-one match for the first time in quite a while versus a flat screen TV, and LA Knight wins. Yeah.
Dragon Lee.
It was close. It was close. That TV could sell, my man. Dragon Lee defeats Angel and then gets beat up after the match. Damage Control makes fun of Bayley. The Bloodline hit the ring to close the show with only 20-something, 30 minutes, not that much time. Roman and Rock shake hands, and then Roman tells the people to acknowledge them. Cody and Seth come out, and we go to commercial. They're doing this American Idol thing pretty all the time now, huh? And we got the results right after this. What do we go? Oh, they all bicker, and then Seth Rollins calls The Rock Mr. Midlife Crisis. It's better than Diarrhea Dwayne, and accepts the match for him and Cody. The Rock calls out Cody, brings up his family, and says Cody was a mistake. Cody doesn't like that, and he slaps the shit out of The Rock as the show ends. And that's the way longer than 60-second SmackDown review. What you got?
I mean, we got to talk about the Rock and Roman segment. I feel like we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't open up with that, because that was kind of the hot topic of the week. And I'm gonna be honest, this segment was kind of a miss for me. I liked, and I
The
think
whole
it's just
segment?
not the whole, just really the ending where the Rock is basically saying that you were a mistake, and you're everyone else is 20 years apart from you, and then Cody Rhodes just slaps him, and then the show goes off the air. And it's just, again, it just feels, we talked about this last week and the week before, that they have to figure this whole thing out with the timing, because it just feels like they're rushing to the end of SmackDown, because we have to sit there and watch the 20-minute entrance of Roman Reigns. And then the Rock's new entrance is awesome, by the way. I love the new entrance that he came out with, but we don't need to see Roman's full entrance. You can go to commercial during his entrance and then come back and we can get more of the segment or something. But it just feels like they kind of rushed to it was like there's even like a video on TikTok or somewhere of, you can see the cameraman like wrapping the Rock up. He's like, you need to hurry up because we're gonna go off the air. So the Rock is like flubbing his words a little bit. Cody Rhodes slaps him, and then they go off the air. And so I liked it, but I wish that I don't even know what I want, because I don't know if I want them to have more time or if I want them to use the time that they have wisely. I don't really know, but I don't think they need more time. I just think they need to stop with the commercials and that kind of thing. Either make the segment commercial free, which I know is hard to do, or cut some other things short so they have a little bit more time if you're adamant about having their entrances in there and everything. But I did like, that was the most fire I've seen from Seth Rollins, which that's the Seth that I want to see. I don't like this diarrhea Dwayne Seth. I want to see that Seth, the one that's like, will you shut up, Mr. Midlife Crisis? We're going to kick your ass. Like the Seth Rollins that's going to kick your ass. He's going to kick your head in. He's going to stomp you. That's the Seth Rollins we want to see. And then Cody Rhodes, like, my problem with Cody is he's just all over the place. One week he's hunting the bloodline like Elmer Fudd, and then the next week, then you have the bloodline in the ring on SmackDown, and Cody's nowhere to be found. And then the next week you have Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, The Rock, and all of the bloodline in the ring together. And Cody, the first thing he says is, let's just take a moment and soak this all in. And I was just like, really? Like, I know you want to appreciate the moment, and that's the kind of guy you are, but it just kind of, I don't know. This was that whole thing was just like, we're gonna sit here and be quiet and just enjoy the electricity in the air and just soak this in. No, like, you're on a quest. You said you're hunting the bloodline. This is your chance to get even with the bloodline. Go after the Rock. Go after Roman Reigns. And then the whole security segment too, where they're like walking out in the crowd when they were supposed to be in their locker rooms, and Nick Aldis couldn't find them, and that whole, I don't know, all of that was kind of dumb. But I do like that we're getting this tag team match. I like Seth Rollins, so there were things that I liked about it, but overall, much of the segment was a miss for me.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely was forgettable compared to the other one, and that I think it's because Cody and Seth have been. Cody's missing right now, in my opinion. And I don't want to get the Cody fans upset. I like Cody. I have nothing against him. He's 100% missing right now. I feel like he's lost. I don't think the John Cena role fits him. I get that it's working. I get the fans like him. I get that people are digging it and babies love it. But that's what you're saying. He's hunting the bloodline. He has this straight viciousness to him. He doesn't show up when he knows where they're going to be. And then he comes out and has a face-to-face. He doesn't even seem like he cares. Also, don't walk down like the Shield in a freaking suit. Sorry to break it to you, bruv, but you can't come down in a suit. You look like security. It just didn't work for me. I didn't like the vibe. I thought it was stupid. Also, even the Rock stuff, man, it was like he was kind of going on a different track. And then all of a sudden, Seth was like, oh, or one of them, you're the boss, right? Like, led him on to then repeat everything he said again. And the Rock
that was
like,
the thing I didn't like.
Yeah, I'm the boss and I make rules. And we know, Rock, you said it freaking 72 times. It was just like a point. I feel like now they're like, we got to get the Rock on TV as much as possible, but we have nothing to talk about. Like, they don't need to punch each other, but at least have some aggression, at least have security in between them, at least make it look like they actually want to fight each other. And then we'll get into Seth on Monday Night Raw, because once again, Seth cut a good promo, sure, Mr. Midlife Crisis, but he didn't, like, is he the champion? Answer me this. I know Drew wants a belt, but is he just holding it? I have no idea. So yeah, I didn't think it was a good, but the Cody slap was good. I'm glad he got his revenge. He needs to. And yet, even though as bad as this segment is, this is still the most pumped I've been for a WrestleMania in a long time. And I went to last year's. We went to last year's, and I'm more pumped about this one than the one I was going to. So
yeah,
I mean, there's still good things about it.
Yeah, I think that's my problem too. Is The Rock? I feel like he's really good when he's following his script and he's doing what he's. But then when Seth or Cody goes a little, they deviate from the script. The Rock has to think off the cuff, and that's when I think he starts repeating himself. How many times did he say he calls Seth Rollins a walking clown emoji? I think he said it at least 7 or 8 times. And how many times did he go over the rules of the tag team match? Where if we win, it's bloodline rules. If you win, you're free of the bloodline. So remember, if you win, it's bloodline. You're free of the bloodline. But if we win, it's bloodline rules. Okay, so it's bloodline rules if we win. You got that right? Like it's just over and over and over. And yeah, it's just. But yeah, I am digging this build to WrestleMania. It's one of the best that we've seen in a long time. And the Rock that I want to see though is the Rock that we saw at the press conference, where he's no nonsense. He's walking up to guys like Triple H, and he's like, "You need to fix this now." Like he's exercising his card on the board or his place on the board, not doing his. You guys are all meth heads. Like just let's focus. Like let's make this. Let's do a complete change in character. Let's go back. Like you want to be corporate Rock, be corporate Rock. I feel like he's trying to be corporate Rock, People's Champion Rock, and Hollywood Rock. We're all into one gimmick, and I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it yet.
I agree. And in this one, even though Cody got the slap, he kind of felt lost in all of this again. Roman and Cody in this segment to me kind of felt like the outcasts until Cody came in and did the slap. So I'm kind of like, where, like,
and that's the other thing too, is all they're doing is building to this tag match. We're it's almost like they've forgotten that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns is main eventing night 2. All they're doing is talking about this tag match. All Roman has really said is Seth Rollins is a cross-dresser and acknowledge me. That's really the only thing he's ever said. And he said that if you lose, you go to the back of the line, you don't get a title shot again. And then The Rock took over. And I feel like Roman and Cody are the most important people in the story, and they're becoming the second. They're playing like the second and third like co-starring roles in this.
I agree. But nonetheless, once again, it makes me wonder about Cody winning. I mean, they did say, "Hey, if you lose, then you're not getting another shot." That doesn't make sense, because then if Cody does lose, I mean, he's going to finish his story.
What if he finished? I'm kind of lost Seth Rollins or Drew.
Yeah, we tried that, right? Remember? Hashtag we want Cody.
Right. Gonna bring that up.
But if you're not bringing up the main event much, that's what's kind of bothering me. But we'll get into Raw, because they did start to throw some hints on things that I kind of feel like they're using SmackDown as the tag team like build, Raw as the singles build without Roman, right? I want to talk about something positive, and that's my boy Logan Paul. Logan Paul is just doing his damn thing. I like that he opened the show. He feels like a natural. I don't think people who are fans understand how hard it is to speak in front of people, especially in front of 10,000 people on a regular basis. The dude just comes out effortlessly, cuts scripted promos, doesn't forget his lines. Not only is he phenomenal to ring, but like I said, he's pretty much doing everything well. I liked all of this. I like Logan Paul versus Randy. I think that match has easily the most potential to steal the show, even more so than Gunther and Sami Zayn. I also like the Prime logo in the middle, man. I'm not offended by it. I'm not bothered. I'm about as offended by that as I am the cross-dressing line. Like, I'm just not. I think it's cool. I think this is. I see people comparing things, like saying, "Well, this isn't a sport." So I'm sorry, if you're a wrestling fan and you say wrestling's not a sport, then you're not a wrestling fan. Wrestling is a sport. They are doing athletic things that make it a gymnastics a sport. Is other thing, like they are literally running, jumping, hitting, punching. Falling, flips. This is a freaking sport, y'all. Just because it's not a scripted. Sorry, I'm choking. Go ahead.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think when people are comparing, I mean, this is what TKO does. They put, like, look at a UFC ring. There's ads all over the octagon. AEW does it. They had DraftKings or FanDuel, one of those platforms, all over their rings all the time. So this is not a new thing. I think people are just they're used to the WWE way of never having ads. But this is also a new regime, and it's also
Yep.
showing that Triple H is the man now in the WWE with his creative decisions, because I don't think Vince would have ever gone for this, but this is also showing, and so is Triple H, because they've got to sign off on this. And I don't think it's just only going to be on the pay-per-views. It's not going to be every week on Raw or SmackDown. It's only on the PLEs.
No, just the PLEs.
This Prime Bottle will be, and you can look at it once a month. That's fine.
And I think they need to add more. I'm sorry to break it to you. Business is equaling money. You don't make a business to not make money. With people like saying also these lines about Tony Khan being so rich, he doesn't care if he loses money. Yes, he does. Tony Khan didn't become a billionaire, or his dad didn't become a billionaire because he liked to lose money. People want to make money. So don't tell me it's not. This is a business. That's what business do. NFL does it. NHL does it. NBA does it. NASCAR does it. And if you're going to tell me wrestling's not a sport, but you're going to tell me NASCAR and golf is a sport, stop. Because it's not like scripture doesn't make things a sport, right? So that's just, yes. So, but I also like KSI taking that RKO. He took it like a dang pro. He took that like legit. It was perfectly done. And how many times has KSI been in a wrestling ring? But yeah, everything about this, I thought it was a hot opening, not so hot closing of SmackDown.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And I'm feeling this Bayley Dakota Kai thing too. That's I'm excited about that again. We're gonna get them on SmackDown this Friday night in a match against each other. So I like this Bayley's being all alone. But one thing I do appreciate too is Bianca Belair was backstage with Naomi, and Naomi was showing like sympathy, like, oh, I really feel bad for Bayley. And Bianca was like, I don't give a crap about Bayley. Like, she put me through the ringer. So I do like that they're going
turn.
Maybe it is showing signs of a heel turn for Bianca, which I think is long overdue for her. And I think it would be great. Or, it could just be that WWE is, they're doing long-term storytelling where it's like, just because you turn babyface, we don't forgive you of your past sins. Look at Jey Uso when he joined Monday Night Raw. Everybody was, can we trust him? He was in the bloodline. Can we trust him? Can we trust him? So it's insane. Same thing with Sami Zayn. You were in the bloodline. Can you be trusted? And now look at Bianca. She's pointing out the fact that Bayley put her through hell, put her through the ringer. So I am digging that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what that dynamic brings and what that does at WrestleMania, if anything.
Although I still feel like they're not giving it enough love. It's still getting kind of overshadowed. I mean, even that segment felt kind of like, okay, it was there, but I don't know. This thing was probably the hottest thing going on to WrestleMania minus the Bloodline and Cody. And it just kind of like fizzled out, and it kind of bums me out. It bums me out. I wanted to talk about that too, because the whole women division in a whole, where it feels like AEW is trying to make theirs hot. And WWE is trying as well. On Raw, I guess we got a lot of stuff going on Raw with Rhea, with Liv, with Becky, with Nia, but then we have Io and Bayley, and it just doesn't feel as strong on that side with the women, and that's a shame because Io and Bayley easily could have headlined night one with their history, the betrayal, that turn, everything about it, man. That was like Money in the Bank, no pun intended. So it's sad that it kind of fizzled, but you're right, they brought it back. Let's see. They got 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, and that's another one, too, where I feel like Dakota Kai maybe turned a little too early, because they could have teased it out until WrestleMania. She could have been the X Factor in this match. She could have turned maybe the week before Mania, then putting Bayley, against all the odds. So because right now it feels like it's Bianca versus Bayley versus Dakota Kai going into WrestleMania, when it should be Bayley versus Io Sky. So I think Dakota Kai maybe turned a little bit too soon.
I agree, and I'll take Dakota Kai off of Bayley's hands if she wants to for WrestleMania. All right, you ready for some Raw?
Always.
Ooh, speaking of Dakota Kai, you ready for Raw? All right, 60-second or less Raw review. Here we go. Drew McIntyre's in the ring for a promo. He brings up CM Punk to keep the feud alive and talks about The Rock when Seth comes out. Seth tells him to hit me, and then he compares him to CM Punk. Savage. Seth tells Drew that he's at the bottom of his list of concerns for WrestleMania, which makes Drew mad. Becky Lynch defeats Liv Morgan, literally. Rhea walks out and jaws off with Liv. then tells Becky Lynch in the ring that she knows Rhea is better than her. There will be a 6-pack ladder match for the tag titles at Mania. Matches will determine who wins coming up in the future, or who's in, sorry. Candice LeRae belittles Maxine Dupree, talks about her dead brother, and then Indy Hartwell gets the pin. Damian Priest versus R-Truth later on tonight. Cody Rhodes has an interview with Michael Cole, and he tries to cry and doesn't know how many innings are in baseball. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? You said it was the 3rd inning. It's the last inning. There's 9 innings, bruv. Like, watch a freaking baseball game.
What if we go to extra innings too? There's always extras.
Well, maybe that's why he said the last inning, but it's the 9th inning, bruv. The 9th inning. All right, Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan make nice and get destroyed by Nia Jax. The Kabuki Warriors defend their titles against Shayna and Zoe Stark. What a shame. They've had all this build. They've won for the last 8 months and then just lose like in 8 minutes. Andrade has a chat with the Judgment Day. Damian Priest struggles literally to beat R-Truth. Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax in a last women's standing match next week on Raw. Jey Uso challenges Jimmy Uso to a match at Mania, and Gunther feels sorry for whoever wins the chance to face him. Sami Zayn pins Chad Gable last to earn a chance at Gunther at WrestleMania. Gunther and Sami Zayn have a stare down to close your show, and that's the Monday Night Raw 60-second or less review. What you got, dude?
All right. I'm excited about Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn is the right winner. I'm wearing Sami Zayn's shirt. I've been pushing for Chad Gable, but
you are Sami Zayn. Of course you're excited.
Of course, yeah. And Sami Zayn's young, better looking twin brother. But but in all seriousness, Sami Zayn versus Gunther is going to tear the house down at WrestleMania, and I can't wait for it. And as much as I've been pushing for Chad Gable over the last few months, because if we're going to finish stories at WrestleMania, I feel like he has one that's worth a WrestleMania moment. But at the same time, I think you've said it before that Chad Gable's probably going to be the guy to dethrone Gunther, but it's not happening at WrestleMania. It doesn't need to happen at WrestleMania. It could happen in Germany, at Berlin. It could happen in Europe. It could happen at SummerSlam, which is in Cleveland. So there's so many options that this could happen. It could happen later on down the road. But Sami Zayn being in WrestleMania against Gunther, that match is gonna slap, and it's gonna, speaking of slapping with Rock and Roman and Cody and Will Smith and Chris Rock, like it's gonna, and Gunther with his slaps, but this match is gonna be off the chains, and I can't wait for it. I think it has potential to steal the show.
I love that you're on TikTok so much. You're speaking like my 9-year-old son right now. I love it.
That's slapped. Yeah,
bruv.
no cap.
Busting, bruv. I actually tell my kids bruv now, and they get so mad at me. They're like, "Shut up, Dad." I'm like, I can say bruv all I want. Will Ospreay ain't that much younger than me. But anyway, yeah, I agree, man. I think I get it, right? Chad Gable, I get it. But he literally came out of nowhere right now. They've been building Sammy for the past 4 weeks with
That's
the whole
thing.
I want to get media and blah blah blah. Yeah, and then all of a sudden now they added Chad Gable, but they added Ricochet, they added other people who feuded with him in the past, and then people are like, "No, I want Chad Gable." We wanted Chad Gable a while ago. They kind of fell off of that. So, but I do think, and I put this on TikTok, that I think Sami Zayn was picked just because he just has the bigger name, man. And I know that that's not my opinion, per se. It's my opinion of what I think Triple H and them think. I think they needed a big name person to go against Gunther, and I don't think they truly thought Chad Gable was that person. I said the same thing about Cody last year. Cody wasn't ready to dethrone Roman. I actually still don't think he is, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he is.
I think to beat a champion who's had the belt as long as a person has, like Gunther, for 600 plus days, you got to be that dude, right? It's not just all about elevating somebody. Elevating somebody is giving them a title that somebody's had for 200 days, right? Like beating Seth Rollins. That's elevating a young talent. Gunther, that dude is the best champion in wrestling right now, honestly. So to have somebody, it has to at least feel like somebody who deserves it. I think Sami Zayn is that guy. He's headlined WrestleMania. He's fought Roman and technically should have won, but was cheated out. I mean, he has the resume. Do I think he's the right chance to do it, or right person? Sorry, no, I don't. I'd rather see Chad Gable, but if Gunther's going to lose it at Mania, why not be against Sami Zayn, who could then elevate it? And then guess what? Have it for a few months, lose it to Chad Gable, and then that elevates Chad Gable into that level and starts boosting him. So win-win. Let's get Gunther onto the World Heavyweight Championship, titles.
Yeah.
Is my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see this for the Intercontinental Championship standpoint too, because just a few years ago that title couldn't even get on the main event, or it wouldn't even sniff the WrestleMania card. It would be like a pre-show match, or it wouldn't even be on the card at all, or they would be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal somehow. And now this is a must-see match. Gunther's elevated that title significantly, and Sami Zayn main evented the show last year, and I think I think he's the perfect opponent for Gunther at WrestleMania. I think the promos are going to hit hard. I think the match is going to be hard hitting, and it's two different styles, and that's what I love about it. It's going to be a fantastic match, and I think the right man won. And and Chad Gable can do it later. He can do it later. If they hadn't kept Chad Gable off of TV for a few months, and if they hadn't have been losing matches to Ivar every other week or so, then yeah, maybe I could see a case for Chad Gable coming to WrestleMania. But all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks they've been pushing Chad Gable. Like, no, it's not quite time. Not quite time.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, like you said, if it was 3 months ago, yeah, but they kind of forgotten about him. Something that's been forgotten. Let's talk about this Drew and Seth. We finally get them. We finally hype them. We put them in a ring together. Drew's out here clowning CM. I feel like Drew is more worried about CM Punk. Seth is more worried about the bloodline.
Bayley's more worried about Dakota Kai.
Yes, like
yeah.
What the hell is going on here? Like, let's focus on the task at hand. And Seth is supposed to have the everyman's title, right? This is the championship that was supposed to be the championship because Roman wasn't on TV anymore. Roman comes back, and now it's like, F this title. And I get it. I still to this day don't think it was any pivot with Cody. I think the pivot was when CM Punk got hurt, and they had to figure out what to do with Seth Rollins. And they didn't just want to give him a guy that he's already beat twice. So they needed to build Drew McIntyre as a threat and let him feud and whatever stupid stuff's going on with the bloodline. With that said, I didn't like Seth. I'm not against the promos. Drew sitting there quietly, being frustrated, not wanting to beat him up yet because he wants to save it for Mania. I don't mind any of that. And I think Seth had a great promo. I don't like what they're making Seth say. And the fact that he said that he's like the bottom of his worries. Drew McIntyre is 6'8", 250 pounds of pure beautifulness and muscle. And that's just coming from a straight man. This dude is a Greek god wearing a skirt that you would never even, yes, I know it's called a kill, but you would never, ever make fun of him because he would whoop that butt. And Seth isn't worried about him. So not only does Seth not care about defending his title, now he doesn't give two craps about fighting the person who he's defending against. Why should I care about this match, Ryan? Enlighten me.
Yeah.
What are they giving me to care?
Drew McIntyre. I mean, Drew McIntyre.
He's it, right?
Yeah, he's carrying this feud. And but yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing I care about with this feud and this match is Drew McIntyre getting his moment in front of a group of people. And I think that's really it. And it's kind of sad because Seth Rollins, he literally preached to Cody Rhodes about how this is the Dusty Championship. This is the Fighting Man's Championship. And now he's got a match with Drew McIntyre, somebody who's not easy to beat, who came this close to beating Roman Reigns. And now all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, I don't really care about you. I'm more concerned about the bloodline and the tag team match. And that's just, you talk about, and ever since the WrestleMania press event, all they've done is bury that World Heavyweight Championship, and Seth Rollins hasn't done it any favors either. And that's been the biggest problem with me. And that's why I wanted to see Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the World Heavyweight title, because I think it could have added some oomph back to that championship and added some pizzazz back to it. And right now we're not getting it. Seth's more concerned about, well, I got a big pop from the crowd, and I'm getting, and The Rock, the whole diarrhea Dwayne, and he's Mr. Mr. Midlife Crisis. Like, he's coming up with all these good zingers, but he's not once said, hey, Roman, this guy that you call a crossdresser, I beat you the last time we faced at the Royal Rumble. I technically have a win over you, and I'm the fighting champion. You know who else I've beaten? Like, list off all your opponents. I've beaten Drew McIntyre. I've beaten your cousin Jey Uso. I've beaten all, like, Sami Zayn. I've beaten all these people. like list off your credentials, and he's just not doing it. And it's just, oh, I'm not even concerned. And yeah, and if he doesn't care, I don't care. But I want to see Drew McIntyre get his moment in front of a group of fans.
I agree. I agree that, but this match is probably going to go on like third. It's probably going to be freaking the worst placement of it's going to feel unimportant. So is he going to have his moment? Sure, but not really. And I think it does. Like someone on TikTok was just saying about, CM Punk, and it could have been, it could have been CM Punk 100%, but it isn't. And now I feel like, because if it was Punk, I think this would have felt bigger. I said that to begin with.
This would have main evented night one.
100%. Punk versus Rollins would have been bigger than Roman Cody too, 100%. I just feel like with Punk coming in with the vibe they had against each other, but Drew and Seth could feel like that too, because Drew was working hard, man. He's doing TikToks, pouring his protein powder, and wearing a Two Dudes with Attitudes wrestling podcast t-shirt, and he's supporting us. And he's just out there doing his damn thing, promoting it, while Seth is like, oh, bloodline, oh, Rock, oh, you called me a crossdresser, oh, rah, you're Mr. Midlife crisis. I don't know why The Rock's having a midlife crisis. Did he leave his wife or buy a Mercedes? Like, I'm confused on why he even said that stupid line. But anyway, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm just not vibing with it. And it hurts me because Drew's top 2 best things going on in WWE right now, and he's not getting any support. And then this last promo, they had a more focus on CM Punk, which kind of lets us know he's going to win the belt, because why do so much hyping unless he's gonna?
And Punk's coming back in 2 weeks on Raw in Chicago too. So,
are we gonna get a Claymore? What are we gonna get?
Maybe something, or maybe he's the guest referee. I don't know. There's so many ways that this thing can go. So they're gonna have Punk at WrestleMania in some way somehow. But the other thing, and we talked about this when we did our Book It or Lose It last week. But another thing too to keep in mind. And Drew McIntyre mentioned Damian Priest by name. He said, until Damian Priest ruined it for me, I had you pinned. So I could see a scenario where Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank on night 1, and Seth Rollins doesn't even make it to night 2 because he's too busy caring about the bloodline that ultimately costs him everything, costs him his championship. And then the match at Mania becomes Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And still Drew McIntyre should win.
That's why I don't think Damian should cash in, but they're not really talking about that right now either. He's carrying the briefcase, but that's about it. Sorry. Yeah. Let's talk about the women, right? Let's see. Want to end it with the women? What do you think?
We got to talk Cody too with his
I forgot about
his crocodile tears. Yeah. But we can talk
my mom. Yeah. Gosh, that was the worst acting I have ever seen, and I've been to my kids' school plays. This shit was straight trash. My favorite part was he was crying, right? And I was like, and then Michael Cole said something else about Roman. He's like, yeah, and I'm gonna beat the Rock and roll, because that's what happens when you're crying, right?
Right. Yeah.
When you're sobbing, you just turn it off. Holy crap. Okay, really quick. That was I don't want this promo, right? This is what was going on with WWE back in the days, that people would get promos that they can't relate to, that they don't want to do. So they deliver it crappy. Look at Will Ospreay's promo. That dude came out and delivered the best promo he's ever had on AEW Dynamite, because it was just him. Yo, Will Ospreay, go talk what you want. He said a bunch of F words that got bleeped out because the dude needs to learn that he's on TV now and he can't just say bad words. It's not Japan anymore. And that, you know what I mean? But he delivered. He was just himself, bruv. He delivered it. It was awesome. I think this was a Cody script by script, say this, and it was awful. Am I wrong?
That's the vibe I got. And one of the things that really bugged me is I understand the WWE planting seeds, but I think the best surprises come when nobody talks about it on TV. Let us talk about it as fans, and let us, fantasy book. But I didn't like when Michael Cole brought up, how can you trust a guy like Seth Rollins? Because that tells me that now Seth Rollins is not going to turn at WrestleMania, because they're listening to everybody. They're listening to the fans, and they're hearing what we're talking about and some of the things that we're theorizing about. And they're like, okay, let's turn that let's make that a promo. And Michael Cole says, how can you trust a guy like Seth Rollins? And I get it, right? It's still long-term storytelling, because they've had their history before, and Cody's 3-0 against them. That's how you can trust Seth Rollins, is I'm 3-0 against him. That's what he should have said. If he's going to do anything, he's going to lose again. He's going to be 0-4 against me. But yeah, I don't like it when they when they kind of sprinkle those things, because now it tells me that it's not going to happen because they're aware that we think it's going to happen.
So you don't think it was foreshadowing? You think it was now this isn't going to happen? All right.
That's kind of how I think. That's kind of what I think. Yeah, because
right.
then because I feel like if they weren't talking about it, if they didn't bring it up and it happened, it would be more surprising. Now it's going to be more like, oh yeah, we all knew it was coming because Michael Cole said it a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, all right. I feel that. I just didn't like it, and I'm not saying that the content wasn't good. You know, talking about the certain situations that he talked about, I just don't think it was delivered properly. I just don't. I don't think he wanted to talk about it. I don't think it's something. We need the American Nightmare Cody. I said it last night on my live on TikTok or yesterday. That's the Cody we need. You can't have The Rock be fired up. You can't have Roman be fired up. You can't have Seth be fired up and then have Cody straight fake crying on national TV. No, we need Cody. What happened? Like you said, I'm hunting for the bloodline. And then he comes and starts hunting, and it literally disappeared that night. He never hunted again. All he's done is stand there, look stupid in a suit, and cry.
Yeah.
It's just really not clicking for me, dude. This is why I'm thinking Cody's not going to win, because he's not giving me that oomph right now. And maybe it's just me. Maybe everybody else in the world thinks
I
Cody's
feel like
killing it and he's ready. I don't know.
I feel like he had more oomph going into last year's WrestleMania than
100%.
this year. This year,
100%.
I think that I don't want to say he's getting exposed a little bit, but it's just he's got a different. But he's also just not. He's not clicking with me right now. He's not. He's not landing. He's not the guy where I'm like, okay, that's our future champion. That's the guy that's going to dethrone Roman.
Yeah,
I just don't see it happening.
No, I'd rather see Stardust right now, to be honest. All right, now let's go into the women's division. You ready? What's happening?
Yeah.
Explain to me.
Oh man, well, Liv and Becky Lynch had a pretty banger match, and
yes, they did, but she
later
lost clean.
Yeah, she did lose clean, but later on in the night, Becky Lynch went and shook her hand backstage, and they as one does, a show of respect to your opponent. And then Nia Jax came out of nowhere and beat up both Liv Morgan and threw Becky Lynch through a merch table of some sort. So, are we getting a 4-way? Is that what they're doing? Are they gonna add Nia and Liv Morgan to the Becky and Rhea match? Because I don't know. I really want to see Rhea versus Becky 1-on-1, but I feel like they're doing this for a reason. They're doing this for a reason, and it's not going to be Liv and Nia 1-on-1, and because she keeps going after Becky Lynch too, and she has history with Rhea as well. So I have this feeling that's going to be a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania: Liv versus Becky versus Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. And we're also shooting this on TikTok, and I don't mean to clown people while we're doing this, but someone called us Cody haters. The one thing I love about people on the internet, whether it be people who listen to us on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, or check us out on TikTok, is the fact that if you say anything negative about anybody, you're a hater. You could not have any type of positive or negative criticism towards anybody without hating them. It's ridiculous and stupid. So I just want to throw that out there. Like, I don't hate anybody. I own freaking 7 Cody shirts. Like, get out of my face with that. Because I think Cody's not doing what he should be doing right now, which I said is my opinion. And I said people might be digging it, but I don't. Doesn't make me a hater. It means that I want better for him. And then I think he should be going a different route on the road to WrestleMania to dethrone the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. So I just want to throw that out there. But yes, Liv, are we going into a 4-way? I see. I was thinking more it would be a 3-way, not a 4-way, because it's okay when it's in a 3-way. But I don't know if we get a 4-way. Like I think what's going to happen is that we're going to get I think Nia Jax and Liv at WrestleMania, not the 4-way. I think we have some more time. So I think something will happen where Liv gets fed up and attacks Nia to get revenge because she just got beat up, and that'll lead to that, and then they'll branch off. I mean, you got to keep building the women's division, right? You can't just have Becky and Rhea and nothing else. So I think that's where they're going, but we can't have a 4-way. I think they're trying to build Rhea, right? Last year she beat Charlotte. This year she'll beat Becky. Next year, who knows? Maybe she'll beat Trish Stratus, right? She's going to beat all these legends. Maybe she'll beat Mercedes Moné when she leaves AEW in a year. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? But we're going to have them I think we're going to have Rhea kind of start knocking some people off right now to kind of cement herself. If there's one thing I've learned about Triple H, he loves having champions have the belt for ever. That's a Sandlot reference, which is funny because he's from the Attitude Era where people had the belts for 3 minutes. People passed that belt. Or Mick Foley and The Rock went back and forth with the belt like it was a freaking
Oh yeah. There were times where there were times where like somebody would be champion at the beginning of the show, and then at the end of the show, that same person would drop the belt, just to give it right back. Yeah, like Jericho did that one time. He beat Triple H the week before, so at the opening of Monday Night Raw, he was coming out with the championship, and then he dropped the title at the end of Monday. Yeah, they used to change titles all the time, like it was a hot potato.
Shoot, Rey Mysterio won it once and lost it the same day. Kane won it and then lost it the first time ever in
next night.
Blood match or whatever, a bleed first match or whatever, first blood, and then he lost it the next night. Yeah. So it was all about it. But yeah, that's what I think. But I like what they're doing. They're doing a lot more with the Raw women's division than they are the SmackDown women's division. Because who's in the SmackDown women's division?
Bayley, Io, the Kabuki Warriors.
Damage Control.
Yeah.
Damage. You're just Damage Control. That's it. So yeah, it's kind of sad and kind of flat. So I definitely thought Bayley would be coming in more hot than Rhea right now for WrestleMania. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
You ready for the feeder league for NXT?
Of course.
All right. This is always hard for the 60-second recap, but I'm going to do it. You ready?
Go for it.
I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go fast like always, ladies. All right. The show opens with the LWO defeating OTM in a first-round tag titles #1 contender tournament match. In the parking lot, Oba and Jensen push each other as Thea Hale is jealous of JC Jane and Jasmine's friendship. She will team with Kalani Jordan later on tonight. Roxanne Perez cuts a heel promo about the fans turning on her and not caring about the work she is doing. She wants Valkyria to vacate that title and give it to her, but out comes the Rock's daughter. And then Paxley tries to jump Roxanne, but Roxanne is having nothing of it. Lexis King defeats Mr. Stone. Dijak gets in Oba's face. And Ridge Holland is training and FaceTiming at the same darn time. Oba retains his title against Jensen. The D'Angelo family throw Dragon off in the trunk of their Hyundai. You heard that right. Gangsters.
A whole new Hyundai.
Yeah, that's what mobsters drive. Whenever I think of a mobster in old like Godfather movies and stuff, I think of them driving
a Hyundai Sonata.
Hyundai. Yeah, that Hyundai hoopty. Who? God, I knew I couldn't do this in 60 seconds. All right, I lost my spot. Oh, for interrupting their dinner. They bring him to the bridge, and basically Tony D says, "I'm gonna throw you over, but I'm not going to this time. You're gonna walk home, bruv." Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan have a no DQ when Gigi lands a low blow in Ariana Grace's private parts. So Ruka is back and wants Blair Davenport. Thea Hale turns on JC Jane and seems to be back to her old self. The no quarter catch crew are not impressed by Riley Osborne. And then Nathan Frazier and Axiom are not impressed by them. The Good Brothers want the tag titles. Hank and Tank want to win the tag team tournament. Sean Spears beats Ridge Holland in a match that involved weapons but wasn't a no DQ match. Yeah. The show closes with Trick Williams cutting a promo, wanting to know why Carmelo did everything that he did, although Carmelo just explained it. They will have a match at Stand and Deliver, and out comes the Metaphor. Dar and Trick go back and forth when Trick kisses Lash Legend and clears the ring to close the show. And that is the 60-second or less NXT review. What'd you like? What you didn't like? What'd you talk about it?
I like the women. The women, I loved Roxanne Perez's heel promo.
Ooh, I like Roxanne Perez. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like this edgy vibe that we're getting from her now. I like this heel character. I like that she mentioned that she lost the title and nobody really cared about when she was ever going to get it back. Nobody ever checked on her. Ava coming out, I just can't believe she's the Rock's daughter and she has no charisma whatsoever when she's on the. It's fascinating to me. It's like I want to do like a character study on her. Right. I don't know. Yeah, I want to do like a character study and figure out like why do you have no charisma? Because she was just like, last week you should never interrupt me because I was going to say, and then Tatum or whoever it was came out of the audience. Yeah, Paxley came out and beat and then they got a referee. That's all I heard Ava saying was referee. So, but the heel Roxanne Perez, we've been waiting for it for a while, and
Mhm.
it's finally here. And I can't wait to see what she does. And I think I like that she mentioned Becky Lynch. I like that she mentioned
Oh,
Tiffy
yeah.
Time. I like
Yep.
all that stuff. That those women are killing it right now, especially Becky. And Becky was the NXT champion.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with Roxanne Perez going forward.
Yeah, man, and I don't know why, but she got like 1,000 times hotter too. I think I just like me some heel work, man. Like you start becoming a heel, I'm like, marry me, Roxanne Perez. I saw people on the internet talking about how she just doesn't come off believable because she's so little and her voice is so like soft spoken, but I don't buy
Yeah,
that. I think Alexa Bliss was a great heel. I think the same. I think this is the Roxanne Perez. We're getting like that Alexa Bliss type vibe. I'm digging it, man. And Roxanne Perez is the best female wrestler in NXT right now. So yes, please have her be Valkyrie and run with it. I also like that Booker T ain't said nothing since. He was like all about Roxanne Perez, helping her basically become a wrestler, starting from when she was like a baby, basically. And now she goes heel, and he's not even saying anything like, "What have you done, Roxanne?" or "Why are you doing this?"
yeah,
or "Go, Roxanne." There's like been no work from Booker. It's kind of weird. Like he doesn't know what to do. I I don't know about that, but the women's division feels good, man. Thea Hale coming around, Gigi Dolan, Ariana Grace with the low blow that I
yeah.
was told on TikTok does hurt women. So sorry about that, women. I wasn't sure. Not as bad, I hear, but it does hurt. But yeah, man, I liked it. I like what they're doing with the female division right now. Better than what they're doing on SmackDown. So
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
yes.
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of the Trick Williams kissing Lash Legend,
Thank
and
you for bringing it up. Yeah.
you know, I understand like if they want to be like an on-screen couple, because if they are a couple in real life and they want to,
Mhm.
but I feel like he needs to be focusing on Carmelo Hayes and not the metaphor. And we're going to Stand and Deliver, and uh, yeah, it just that was my biggest problem with that whole segment is, yes, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, they had a moment in the ring together, but at the same time, why is metaphor like why was metaphor even involved in this? That's what I don't
Mhm.
understand. And then why is he focusing on kissing Lash Legend when he should really be focusing on he should be stopping at nothing to go after going after Carmelo Hayes. Like what he did last week when he returned is what he should have done more of this week. Just every time he's out there, just beat him down, go after and chase him through the crowd until they finally are able to get their hands on each other at Stand and Deliver. So that's kind of my thing. It just feels like everybody is focused on something else going into WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver. And I want Trick Williams to be focused 100% on Carmelo Hayes.
I agree. I thought this whole end segment was stupid. I thought this was really the only bad part. He
Yeah.
literally said, "I want to know why Carmelo Hayes
When he's already
did what he
told him.
did."
Yeah.
Twice. He's like like, were you not around? Like, I'm so confused. And then I'm sorry, I didn't know they were dating. I thought that kiss was out of nowhere. Like, where they weren't hinting at that before. Where I've
I
never
don't think
seen any
so.
mention of
No.
him and Lash. All of a sudden now he's macking her. And why is metaphor? I get Dar needs something to do, but you're gonna have him feud with Trick Williams 3 weeks before he has to wrestle for the biggest match of his life. I don't know. I thought it was all whack. I didn't like the ending at all. I thought it was a very, very poor way to close out the show. So,
Yeah. And apparently the
just my
ratings for
opinion.
NXT this week weren't very good either. I think they only had 588,000 people watch it or something along those lines. So
Mm,
not a good number for NXT.
no, that's like NXT. That's like AEW Collision numbers. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, I mean, what's going on right now? I mean, we got Tony D'Angelo throwing Dragunov in a Hyundai. We got Oba Femi is not as good as people are advertising. I think he got this way too soon. I'm not vibing with him. I hope Dijak beats him. I don't know. I mean, what else did we really have on this show? I mean, there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot to
Not a
really,
lot.
really like. This is a pretty poor NXT. So
Yeah.
what
And
can you do?
Sean Spears and Ridge Williams or
Oh
Ridge
yeah,
Holland,
that was
that was a quick match. And you mentioned the chairs, and it wasn't even a no
mhm,
DQ match. And why
yeah.
wasn't that? He came back to go after Ridge Holland. Why is that match taking place the very next week on NXT? Why not drag that out till Stand and Deliver? That's what I don't understand.
Uh-huh.
Make it
And
his
half the
first
match,
match. Yeah.
yeah. And half the match was him begging to have him beat him up. And what's that all about? Like, I don't know. Sean Spears now like into weird stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lexus King. But well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But overall, man, good. I think it was an overall good week in WWE. I still enjoyed it. I like what they're doing. I'm still excited for the road to WrestleMania. And I think I'm more intrigued now by WrestleMania than I ever have been. Just because I don't know which way they're gonna go, man.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't with most of the matches, minus like Bayley and Io Sky. I don't really know who's going to win every match, dude. I think we're kind of up in the air on almost everything. I don't even think they know who they want to win with Roman and Cody right now. I think they're playing it by ear, dude. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's gonna be a fun ride the rest of the way, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and all those people who thought Rock and Roman were going to wrestle not at WrestleMania, I'm so glad the WWE came out and shut that down, saying no, the Rock ain't going to be anywhere around here during SummerSlam and so on. Saudi. I don't know why people thought like they're going to do Rock and Roman at Money in the Bank. That sounds like a lot of sense. No, Rock and Roman will wrestle at WrestleMania 41, no matter the outcome of WrestleMania 40. So just mark your calendars wherever it's going to be. Rock Roman, WrestleMania 41. If it's in Vegas, we'll be there.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
It's looking like Minnesota is where it's going to be, though. But that's what they're saying. Minneapolis has put in a bid to get WrestleMania 41 because they have that new stadium where the Vikings play.
Who the heck wants to go to Minnesota?
Actually,
I'll go. Yeah. I'll go. I know, especially during, I'll go. I wanted to go this year to Philly, man. If they didn't like overdo prices, this was like stupid. I'm not spending no $12,000 to go to Philadelphia to watch a WrestleMania. No thanks. Even though I wanted to meet some TikTokers, I still ain't gonna. No thanks.
No.
All right. All right. You ready?
Of course. Let's do it.
All right. Let's get it. It is segment time. And I think we got a rap song for this, right? Our people on TikTok won't hear. But let's hit it. Let's go.
Unpopular opinion, trying to get them. They ain't hating, just listen. If you don't agree, man, they get it. They gon' say it with their chest, even if you upset. They can take their heat, none of this get some stress. This is something they been holding in. Two dudes ain't afraid to tell them what it is. And you might even agree. So open up your minds, come and listen to the team.
All right. It is unpopular opinion time. And just to let people know, unpopular opinion is an opinion that we know will be unpopular. It might not be something that we 100% think is fact, but we think it could happen or is or whatever, or we're vibing here, but it is an unpopular opinion. So don't hit us up with like, that was an awful take. That's so unpopular. Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion.
L take, bro. Yeah.
L take, bro. L take. You almost hate Cody, right? You almost hate Cody because you all said something negative about him. You said his hair is too blonde. Y'all haters.
His neck tattoo. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, gosh. I saw a fan on TikTok get one of those neck tattoos. How stupid are you?
I know. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, gosh. Be a fan, but get that stuff tatted on your tramp stamp. Not a. All right. You ready? Unpopular.
Get like a fake tattoo. Get like a henna tattoo or something. Not a real one.
Right? Something. Jeez, on your neck. Have fun working at Hot Topic the rest of your life. All right. Let's go. Unpopular or the 99-cent store. All right. Let's go. You ready? Unpopular opinion. You up first, as always. Let me have it.
All right. So my unpopular opinion, and I don't know how this is going to go over, but I don't think Bray Wyatt should be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. I'm not saying he shouldn't be inducted at all. I think he will be, and he probably will be this year, but I don't think he needs to go in 2024. I think Paul Heyman should be the headliner, considering that this WrestleMania is in Philadelphia and what he meant to that city and what that city meant to him with ECW. And I feel like if you add Bray Wyatt into the Hall of Fame this year, he would be the headlining act. And, I think he definitely deserves it when he is inducted. I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I just don't see how you have Bray Wyatt headline the WWE Hall of Fame over Paul Heyman when WrestleMania is in Philadelphia this year. So that's my unpopular opinion that, I'm not saying Bray Wyatt shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I know that there's reports out that there's like spots for 2 more people getting into the Hall of Fame. One of them is rumored to be Bray Wyatt himself, and the other one is rumored to be The Rock's grandmother. But I think Paul Heyman should be the headliner in the Hall of Fame because of everything with ECW in Philadelphia, and I think Bray Wyatt can go in next year as the headlining act. But that's just me. That's my unpopular opinion.
Well, I agree. Well, for one, I think the first person to name is the headliner. So I think Paul's the headliner no matter what. Here's the thing. I love Bray Wyatt. I love him. I always did. You can go back and check our track records. I was always pissed when they weren't using him correctly. But if he didn't pass away, would he be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
mean, I get it. I get it. People die and then we respect them and love them more. His career wasn't a Hall of Fame career per se. I mean, we all complained the entire time about how the WWE misused him. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yeah. Did he do things that nobody would ever do? Heck yeah. That's why we loved him. But he could have been used so much better. And
Yeah.
Vince blew it. And Triple H was blowing it on the second run. They just weren't
Mhm.
using the dude wrestled once in the worst match I've seen since the last match of his against Seth Rollins when he wrestled LA Knight in a Pepsi Cola battle
It was the Mountain
Dippa
Dew pitch
saw
black match
dark
or whatever.
match. Yeah, it's so stupid, man. Like, I don't know. Do I think he'll go in the Hall of Fame? Yes, but he's not a headliner, dude. He just isn't.
Yeah.
So if
I
they put
just
him in this year, I'm for it. But whenever
Yeah,
they
I
put
just
him
feel
in,
like
when
he
they put
would
him
be
in.
the headliner this year if he went in, and I just don't see how he headlines the Hall of Fame over Paul Heyman. But that's just
Yeah,
me.
I mean, he won't. But I mean, why is Demolition still not? I mean, we got so many people, but yeah.
Yeah.
But once again, and that's not me dogging Bray Wyatt. That's me dogging the way Bray Wyatt was booked. And we don't put people in the Hall of Fame off of who they are, or their potential, right? So, but I do think he will go in the Hall of Fame. I just think it sucks that he had to die to get there, because if he was still alive today and doing whatever he was doing, he wouldn't be having a Hall of Fame career at the moment. He just wouldn't. They didn't
Yeah.
use him right.
His career would still be
Sad.
going on too. So
It would,
you know,
yeah,
but
for
yeah.
sure. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Unpopular opinion. Your boy, your hero, CM Punk will never headline a WrestleMania and might never even wrestle in one. And the reason I say this is because the last 3 times this dude has basically wrestled, he has injured himself. And I love me some CM Punk. When he came to WWE, I felt like he turned his entire career around. I was vibing. I thought he was finally going to have his moment, and he got injured in basically the first match he had. The dude is just broken, and with age, over time, with taking 6 years off or 3 years or however long it was to go get beat up in the UFC and to do commentary, I think his body weakened. I don't know if he's going to rebuild like Triple H. I don't think he has that in him. He was never a guy who was super buff, muscular, or looked like someone who cared about his figure. So I don't know if he can Triple H. Remember when Triple H rebuilt,
Oh yeah.
reformed,
Reclaimed. Yeah.
whatever it was? I just
Yeah.
don't know. So what I'm saying right now is that my unpopular opinion, I don't think he ever will. I think when he comes back, he's going to get injured again, and that's going to be it for him. I think it's in the cards, and it pains me to say that. This isn't what I want, just on record. I don't want this. I'm just saying I think it's going to
Drew McIntyre over there. You prayed for this and it happened. But no, yeah, I agree. And the thing is if I'm the WWE, I'm keeping CM Punk away from the WrestleMania scene as much as possible. And I know that I hate to say it too, because I'm a Punk fan. I have been since his Ring of Honor career. He's the only reason I watched Ring of Honor was because of him. But right now, like he's proven to be more of a liability. And I'm not even talking about backstage stuff. I'm just more of his injury stuff. It's let him have a few matches on Monday Night Raw, a few matches on SmackDown, just to see what his body can do before you before you put you have the pencil and you're writing him down for WrestleMania 41, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Let's not do that when he comes back. Let's see what his body can do before you commit to anything with him for WrestleMania. But I kind of agree. I think he's proven to be too much of an injury risk at this point of his career.
All right. I agree. All right. I got like a minute. You got one you want to throw out for reals or what?
Yeah, I got one last one.
Right,
last one. So
go.
My other unpopular opinion is that I think it should be a bloodline clean sweep at WrestleMania 40, which means Roman Reigns beats Cody Rhodes. The Rock and Roman beat Seth and Cody Rhodes. And I think Jimmy Uso should 100% beat Jey Uso at WrestleMania 40. I think that Jimmy needs it more than Jey does. And if they want, you can do a series of matches if you choose to where Jey can win the series. But I think Jimmy needs the WrestleMania rub more than Jey does, because Jay's already over no matter what. And a win over Jey would be huge for Jimmy. And have Solo Sikoa beat whoever he faces, whether it's John Cena or somebody else. Have it be a bloodline clean sweep at WrestleMania. And then, if you want, another thing that I think it would be unpopular, but in addition to the clean sweep, I don't think Rock should turn on Roman. I don't think Cody should turn on, or Seth should turn on Cody. But I think Jey Uso should 100% be the guy to turn on Cody and rejoin the bloodline, and make the bloodline stronger than ever. You had the clean sweep at Mania, and now you have Jey coming back to rejoin his family because he realized after losing to Jimmy that he's better with the bloodline and he needs them. He needs them much more than they need him. So
yeah,
I'm going to say Jimmy Uso should beat Jey Uso at WrestleMania.
All right. That is unpopular because you're talking bad about Cody. How dare you? This is the thing I love about WrestleMania coming up, right? Is that you don't know which way, and those are things that can happen, right? I mean, Jey is 2-8 out of his last, or 2-8 in his last 10. Dude, don't win. Jimmy winning. I mean, Jimmy needs to win. Jimmy's probably 0-18.
I think he's like in solos like 0-38 since he lost to John Cena at Crown Jewel, or since he beat John Cena at Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
so
I think we're getting a turn no matter what. But I agree with you. I mean, Roman and Rock are winning the tag match. That's period. That's set in stone.
Yeah,
it depends on what happens night 2. So yeah, we'll see, man. I like that take. Bloodline. They need to build back. I mean, they're going to keep going, right? Because it's going to end at 41 with Rock and Roman. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens, man. See what the future holds. But that's why I'm pumped about this Mania for sure.
Yeah, it's unpredictable for sure.
100%. Finally. All right. Well, that is Two Dudes with Attitudes of Wrestling podcast, WWE edition. We love it. Thank you for tuning in. People on TikTok for the first time, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate everyone who's on this. Keep liking us. Keep subscribing to us. Tomorrow, we will be back with our AEW edition. It was a popping week for AEW. I'm excited to go over it tomorrow. That Dynamite last night had all sorts of things going on. Woo! It was like SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. It was like just everything was happening.
It was good.
So we'll talk about that. But as always, if you want to catch me, you can catch me on literally every social media outlet at HBD Denton. And with me, as always, is my main man.
At Ryan Enjoys Wrestling on every platform out there. Follow us on X at Two Dudes PC. Follow us on TikTok as well at Two Dudes with Attitudes. We're trying to get that up to 1,000 so we can be live on that platform instead of our individual platforms. And go rank us and review us on Apple and Spotify if you haven't done so. And then subscribe on the YouTube. We're over 700 subscribers. We want to get to 1,000 by WrestleMania. It's going to take some work, but we can make it happen because 2024 is going to be the year of the dudes for sure.
Heck yeah. Two Dudes Attitudes. Wolfpack.
Two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.